Let me ask you something. Why do some people achieve massive success while others stay stuck, spinning their wheels? Is it luck? Talent? No. Success is a science. It's built on habits. The daily rituals, the non-negotiable actions, the mindset that turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. If you want to create a life on your terms, you must condition yourself for success. And today, I'm going to give you the 10 habits that every successful person lives by. Habits that will rewire your brain, elevate your energy, and make success inevitable. Are you ready? Then let's go. Success leaves clues. It is not an accident, nor is it reserved for a select few. It follows a pattern, a predictable sequence of behaviors, mindsets, and disciplines that, when followed, lead to extraordinary results. The greatest achievers throughout history, whether in business, sports, science, or personal development, have all understood one fundamental truth. If you want to be successful, you must study those who have already achieved it. You must identify the habits that drive them, the decisions they make, the principles they live by, and then adopt those same strategies in your own life. The reality is that success is not something that happens overnight. It is built brick by brick through consistent, deliberate action. Every person who has reached the pinnacle of their field has left behind a roadmap, a series of choices, behaviors, and rituals that, when studied, can be replicated. The problem is that most people don't take the time to analyze what actually makes someone successful. Instead, they assume it's luck, intelligence, or natural talent. But if you study successful individuals closely, you will find that it is their daily habits and mindset that set them apart. Think about this. If you wanted to become a world-class athlete, would you train randomly, without a plan, without learning from the best? Of course not. You would find out what the top athletes do, how they train, how they eat, how they think, and you would model those behaviors. The same is true for business, relationships, health, or any other area of life. Success is a process, and that process leaves behind clues that anyone can follow. One of the most important clues successful people leave behind is the way they think. They have a mindset of growth, resilience, and unwavering belief in their ability to overcome obstacles. They see failure not as an end, but as a necessary part of progress. They understand that every setback carries a lesson, and they use those lessons to refine their strategies and move forward. This mental framework is not something they were born with. It is something they developed over time through experience, reflection, and conscious effort. Beyond mindset, successful people have specific habits that drive their results. They are disciplined, committed, and intentional about how they spend their time. They wake up with purpose. They plan their days meticulously, and they take massive action toward their goals. They don't waste energy on distractions or negative influences. Instead, they surround themselves with people who push them to be better, who challenge their thinking, and who inspire them to keep growing. Another powerful clue left behind by the most successful people is their ability to take consistent action even when they don't feel like it. Too many people wait for motivation before they start working toward their goals. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Highly successful people don't rely on feelings. They rely on habits. They build routines that keep them progressing no matter what. They create systems that make success inevitable. Take, for example, someone who wants to be physically fit. If they only work out when they feel like it, they'll never reach their full potential. But if they build a routine, commit to it, and stick with it regardless of how they feel, they will see results. The same principle applies to every area of life. Success is not about occasional bursts of effort. It's about the daily disciplines that accumulate over time. Another undeniable clue successful people leave behind is their commitment to lifelong learning. They never stop growing, never stop reading, never stop seeking knowledge. They invest in themselves through books, courses, mentorship, and experiences that expand their perspective. They understand that the moment they stop learning, they stop progressing. The most successful people in the world, from CEOs to athletes to thought leaders, are all obsessive learners. They don't just consume information, they apply it. They take what they learn and turn it into action, using it to improve their skills, refine their strategies, and stay ahead of the curve. Success also leaves clues in the way people handle adversity. Every great success story is also a story of overcoming obstacles. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of challenges, but the way they respond to them. When things go wrong, and they will, successful people don't dwell on the problem, they focus on solutions. They ask empowering questions. How can I fix this? What's the lesson here? What's the next step? They don't allow setbacks to define them. They use them as stepping stones to come back even stronger. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they expect the path to be easy. They think that if they face difficulties, it means they're on the wrong track. But the truth is, obstacles are a sign that you're growing. Every challenge is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. If you look at the most successful individuals, you'll see that they have faced rejection, failure, and hardship, but they persisted, they adapted, they kept pushing forward, even when it would have been easier to quit. Another crucial clue that success leaves behind is the importance of environment, who you spend time with, what you listen to, what you consume. All of these factors shape your thinking and your actions. Successful people are intentional about their environment. They surround themselves with other high achievers, people who challenge them, support them, and push them to be better. They avoid negativity, gossip, and toxic influences because they know that environment is stronger than willpower. If you want to achieve greatness, you must put yourself in an environment that fosters growth. Success is not an accident. It follows a pattern, a formula that can be studied, learned, and applied. If you want to achieve extraordinary results in any area of life, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You simply need to identify the patterns, the clues left behind by those who have already walked the path, and implement them in your own life. The habits, mindset, and strategies of the most successful people are available to anyone willing to learn and apply them. The question is, are you willing to take action? Are you willing to study success, implement the lessons, and commit to the habits that will take you to the next level? Because here's the truth. Success is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It is earned by those who are willing to do the work, to develop the right habits, to push through challenges, and to keep growing every single day. The clues are all around you. The roadmap is there. The only thing left is for you to follow it. Success is not just about what you do. It's about how you think. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every milestone starts in the mind before it manifests in reality. The way you perceive the world, the beliefs you hold about yourself, and the mindset you cultivate all determine the level of success you will achieve. People who rise to the top don't just work harder, they think differently. They operate from a mindset of possibility, resilience, and unwavering confidence in their ability to figure things out. At the core of success is a belief system that fuels action. Many people fail before they even begin, not because they lack skills or opportunities, but because they doubt themselves. They let fear dictate their choices. They listen to the voice in their head that says, "What if I fail?" instead of asking, "What if I succeed?" The most successful people don't entertain self-doubt for long. They rewire their thinking to focus on solutions rather than problems, on opportunities rather than obstacles. They understand that challenges are inevitable, but their response to those challenges is what determines their outcome. A growth mindset is one of the most powerful tools for success. People with a fixed mindset believe that abilities are set in stone. They think intelligence, talent, and success are predetermined. But those with a growth mindset understand that everything is fluid. They know that skills can be developed, knowledge can be acquired, and setbacks can be turned into stepping stones. They embrace challenges because they see them as opportunities to grow. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," they say, "I can't do this yet, but I will figure it out." Another key to a successful mindset is the ability to reframe failure. Most people see failure as the end of the road. They take a single setback as evidence that they're not cut out for success. But high achievers see failure differently. To them, failure is feedback. It's a learning tool, a necessary step on the path to mastery. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before perfecting the light bulb. Did he see those failures as proof that he wasn't good enough? No. He saw them as part of the process. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This ability to detach emotionally from failure and see it objectively is a skill that can be developed. The most successful people don't take failure personally. They don't let one bad experience define them. Instead, they analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and keep moving forward. They don't let fear of failure paralyze them because they understand that the only real failure is quitting. A success-driven mindset is also rooted in belief. Belief in oneself, in one's potential, and in one's ability to shape the future. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? Confidence is not something you are born with. It's something you build. And how do you build it? Through action. Every time you take action, even when you're scared, even when you're unsure, you strengthen your confidence. The more you prove to yourself that you can push through discomfort, the more unstoppable you become. This is why high achievers don't wait for motivation to strike. They don't wait until they feel ready. They understand that action creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. You don't become confident by sitting on the sidelines thinking about success. You become confident by getting in the game and doing the work. Beyond confidence, successful people have a deep sense of personal responsibility. They do not blame others for their circumstances. They do not make excuses. They take ownership of their results, good or bad. If something goes wrong, they don't point fingers. They ask, what can I do differently next time? This level of accountability separates those who achieve from those who remain stuck. Another critical aspect of the success mindset is the ability to control emotions. Life is unpredictable. Obstacles will arise. People will disappoint you. Unexpected problems will surface. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is emotional resilience. Successful individuals do not allow their emotions to dictate their actions. They don't let frustration, anger, or self-pity derail them. Instead, they train themselves to respond with logic, strategy, and composure. One of the best ways to cultivate emotional resilience is through perspective. When things go wrong, most people react impulsively, consumed by frustration or fear. But successful individuals take a step back. They ask themselves, will this matter a year from now? What's the best way to handle this situation? How can I turn this into an advantage? By shifting their focus from emotional reactions to strategic responses, they maintain control over their outcomes. Another key element of the mindset for success is gratitude. This might seem counterintuitive. What does gratitude have to do with success? The answer is everything. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already working. It rewires your brain to see possibilities instead of limitations. When you operate from a place of gratitude, you attract more opportunities because you're already seeing abundance rather than scarcity. People who fail often have a mindset of lack. They focus on what they don't have, what's going wrong, what's missing. But the most successful individuals train themselves to see opportunities where others see obstacles. They cultivate an attitude of abundance, which allows them to make better decisions, take bigger risks, and seize opportunities that others overlook. Another essential trait of successful individuals is their ability to manage their thoughts. They are highly selective about what they allow into their minds. They don't consume negative news all day. They don't engage in gossip or self-defeating conversations. They guard their mental energy like it's their most valuable asset, because it is. The way you think determines how you feel, and how you feel determines how you act. If you want to change your results, you must first change the way you think. It's no coincidence that high achievers surround themselves with positive, driven, successful people. They understand that environment shapes mindset. If you spend time around people who complain, make excuses, and settle for mediocrity, that mindset will rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with winners, people who think big, push themselves, and refuse to settle, you will naturally rise to their level. This is why successful people invest heavily in personal development. They read books, attend seminars, hire mentors, and seek out knowledge constantly. They never assume they know it all. They are always looking for ways to improve, grow, and evolve. They understand that the moment you stop learning, you stop progressing. At the end of the day, success is not just about skills or intelligence, it's about mindset. The most successful people have trained their minds to think in a way that supports their goals. They believe in themselves, they take ownership of their actions, they embrace challenges, they see failure as feedback, they control their emotions, they focus on solutions, they surround themselves with positive influences, and most importantly, they take massive action every single day. If you want success, start by mastering your mindset, because once you get your mind right, everything else falls into place. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like waves, unpredictable and unreliable. If you rely on motivation to push you forward, you will never achieve consistent success, because motivation is based on emotion, and emotions change. The most successful people in the world do not operate on motivation. They operate on discipline and habit. They create systems that keep them moving forward regardless of how they feel in the moment. They understand that success is not about how inspired you are on any given day, but about what you do consistently, day after day, until results become inevitable. Think about someone who wants to get in shape. If they only go to the gym when they feel like it, they'll never build the strength and endurance they need. But if they make exercise a non-negotiable habit, something they do no matter what, they will see progress even on the days they don't feel like showing up. The same applies to business, relationships, finances, and any other area of success. It's not the one-time efforts that count, it's the daily disciplines. Habits shape our lives more than we realize. Every action we take is either moving us closer to success or pulling us further away. The challenge is that most people do not intentionally design their habits. They let life dictate their routines rather than taking control and setting up habits that drive success. Successful people, on the other hand, are highly intentional about their daily actions. They create habits that support their goals, and once those habits are in place, success becomes automatic. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with success is that they rely too much on willpower. They think, if I just try harder, I'll succeed. But willpower is like a battery. It drains throughout the day. If you rely solely on willpower, you'll eventually run out of energy and fall back into old patterns. The key is to remove the need for willpower by turning success-driven behaviors into habits. When something becomes a habit, it no longer requires effort or decision-making. It happens automatically. Consider someone who struggles with procrastination. If they wait until they feel like working, they'll rarely get things done. But if they build a habit of starting work at the same time every day, eventually their brain adapts. It stops feeling like a struggle because it becomes second nature. They no longer have to convince themselves to take action. It just happens. This is why successful people rely on habits rather than motivation. They don't have to feel like doing something. They've trained themselves to do it automatically. Another key to mastering habits is consistency. Many people start strong but lose momentum when results don't come fast enough. They expect instant success, and when it doesn't happen, they quit. But successful people understand that habits compound over time. Small actions repeated consistently create massive results. You don't become a millionaire overnight, but if you develop the habit of managing your money wisely every day, financial success becomes inevitable. Now, you don't become a great speaker instantly, but if you practice speaking daily, over time you will develop mastery. One of the biggest shifts you can make in your life is to stop thinking about success as a one-time event and start thinking of it as a daily practice. It's not about achieving one big goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally creates success. This happens through habits. When you shift your focus from big dramatic actions to small daily improvements, everything changes. Another critical factor in building habits that lead to success is identity. Your habits are a reflection of who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, you will act accordingly. But if you start to see yourself as someone who is committed and focused, your actions will align with that belief. Successful people create habits that reinforce their identity. They don't just set goals, they embody the identity of the person they need to become to achieve those goals. For example, instead of saying, I want to be healthy, they say, I am the kind of person who prioritizes health. Instead of saying, I want to build a business, they say, I am an entrepreneur who takes action daily. When you shift your identity, your habits follow. You no longer have to force yourself to take action because it becomes part of who you are. Another powerful habit that all successful people share is the habit of planning. They don't just wake up and hope for a productive day. They plan their actions in advance. They know exactly what they need to do, and they create systems to make execution easy. This eliminates decision fatigue and keeps them focused. Many people struggle with success because they spend too much time thinking and not enough time doing. They overanalyze, hesitate, and second-guess themselves. But successful people build the habit of quick, decisive action. They trust themselves to figure things out as they go. They don't wait for the perfect moment because they know it will never come. Instead, they create momentum through action, and that momentum carries them forward. One of the biggest lessons about success is that it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Successful people understand the power of habits because habits allow them to achieve more with less effort. When something becomes a habit, it no longer feels like work, it becomes part of your daily rhythm. That's why they invest time in building the right habits rather than relying on willpower or motivation. Another habit that separates successful people from the rest is the habit of learning. They are always growing, always improving, always expanding their knowledge. They read books, listen to mentors, attend seminars, and seek out information that helps them grow. They don't see learning as something that ends after school. They see it as a lifelong process. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing. But successful people don't just consume information, they apply it. Many people get stuck in the trap of learning without action. They read books, take courses, and gather knowledge, but they never implement what they learn. Successful people, on the other hand, build the habit of immediate execution. When they learn something new, they put it into practice right away. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They start now. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is the habit of taking massive action. Many people dream, plan, and set goals, but they never take the necessary steps to make those goals a reality. Successful people don't just talk about success, they take action every single day. They don't let fear or doubt stop them. They don't wait until they feel ready. They take action despite uncertainty, and that action creates momentum. The truth is, habits determine your destiny. Your current results are a reflection of your daily habits. If you want to change your life, change your habits. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop relying on willpower. Build systems that make success inevitable. Develop the habits of success, and success will become your new normal. Success is never a solo journey. No one achieves greatness alone. The most successful people in the world understand that their environment shapes their results, and they are intentional about the people they surround themselves with. The truth is, who you spend time with has a direct impact on your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your level of success. If you want to elevate your life, you must elevate your circle. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to achieve success while staying in the same environment that has held them back. They keep the same friends, engage in the same conversations, and absorb the same negative influences that reinforce old patterns. But successful individuals are different. They seek out people who challenge them, inspire them, and push them to be better. They understand that success is contagious. When you're surrounded by people who are driven, ambitious, and constantly improving, you naturally start to rise to their level. Think about it like this. If you spend time with 5 people who are out of shape, complain about life, and make excuses, you will start to adopt their habits. You might not even realize it, but their mindset, behaviors, and beliefs will influence you. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with 5 people who are disciplined, goal-oriented, and committed to growth, their energy will rub off on you. You will start thinking bigger, taking more action, and expecting more from yourself. This is why the most successful people are highly selective about their inner circle. They don't waste time with toxic individuals, negative thinkers, or people who drain their energy. Instead, they seek out mentors, peers, and networks that elevate them. They put themselves in rooms where they are the least knowledgeable person, knowing that this will force them to grow. They understand that if they are always the smartest person in the room, they are in the wrong room. Mentorship is another critical factor in success. No matter how talented or hardworking you are, there is always someone who has already walked the path you are on. Learning from their experiences can save you years of trial and error. The most successful individuals actively seek out mentors, people who have already achieved what they aspire to achieve. They understand that success leaves clues, and instead of trying to figure everything out on their own, they learn from those who have already paved the way. But finding a mentor isn't just about asking someone for advice. It's about bringing value to the relationship. Successful people understand that mentorship is a two-way street. They don't just take, they give. They find ways to contribute, whether by offering their own skills, insights, or assistance in some way. They approach mentorship with humility, a willingness to learn, and a mindset of reciprocity. Networking is another powerful tool that successful individuals use to accelerate their growth. They don't just attend events or collect business cards. They build genuine, meaningful relationships. They understand that success is built on relationships, and they invest time in connecting with like-minded individuals who can support, challenge, and inspire them. They know that the right connection can open doors that hard work alone cannot. One of the reasons many people struggle with success is because they isolate themselves. They try to do everything on their own, thinking that asking for help is a sign of weakness. But the truth is, asking for help, seeking guidance, and collaborating with others is a sign of strength. The most successful people know how to leverage the knowledge, experience, and resources of others to accelerate their progress. Another important aspect of building a powerful network is the ability to provide value. Many people approach networking with a "what can I get" mentality. They look for opportunities to take rather than to give. But the most successful individuals understand that the key to building strong relationships is to focus on giving first. They look for ways to help others, connect people, and add value before ever asking for anything in return. They know that when you consistently give, opportunities naturally flow back to you. One of the most powerful lessons about success is that your environment is stronger than your willpower. No matter how disciplined or motivated you are, if you're constantly surrounded by negativity, distractions, and people who hold you back, you will struggle to reach your full potential. This is why successful people design their environment intentionally. They remove toxic influences, set up systems that keep them focused, and surround themselves with individuals who inspire them to be better. Your environment is not just about the people you interact with, it also includes what you consume. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the conversations you engage in, all shape your thinking. Successful people are intentional about what they feed their minds. They do not waste time on negativity, gossip, or meaningless distractions. Instead, they immerse themselves in content that educates, motivates, and challenges them to grow. Another key factor in success is accountability. The most successful individuals do not just set goals and hope for the best. They create systems of accountability that ensure they follow through. They understand that self-discipline alone is not enough, so they build structures that keep them on track. This might mean working with a coach, joining a mastermind group, or having an accountability partner who holds them to their commitments. Accountability creates pressure, and pressure creates results. When you have someone checking in on your progress, you are far more likely to stay consistent. This is why top performers in every field have coaches. Athletes have coaches, CEOs have mentors, and entrepreneurs have mastermind groups. They don't rely on motivation alone. They create external systems that keep them pushing forward even when they don't feel like it. Another important principle that successful people live by is the idea that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to achieve more, you must upgrade your circle. You must seek out individuals who challenge your thinking, push you to grow, and refuse to let you settle for mediocrity. You must eliminate or limit time with people who drain your energy, bring negativity into your life, or discourage you from pursuing your goals. This does not mean cutting people out of your life without reason, but it does mean being intentional about who has the most influence over you. If you want to be financially successful, spend time with people who are financially intelligent. If you want to be in great shape, spend time with people who prioritize health. If you want to build a thriving business, surround yourself with entrepreneurs who are making it happen. The reality is, your success is a reflection of your environment. If you want to change your results, change your environment. Create a circle of influence that lifts you higher. Seek out mentors who have walked the path before you. Build relationships with people who challenge and inspire you. Remove negative influences that hold you back. Design an environment that makes success inevitable. Success is not about going at it alone. It's about surrounding yourself with the right people, creating the right habits, and immersing yourself in an environment that supports your goals. When you make these changes, success is no longer a possibility, it becomes a certainty. Success is not about luck or talent, it's about taking consistent, intentional action. The most successful people in the world do not wait for opportunities to come to them. They create opportunities through relentless execution. They understand that ideas, plans, and dreams mean nothing without action. No matter how well you strategize, if you don't take action, you will never see results. Many people spend too much time thinking and not enough time doing. They get caught in analysis paralysis, overthinking every decision, waiting for the perfect moment, and second-guessing themselves. But successful individuals operate differently. They understand that perfection is an illusion and that action is the only way to make progress. They don't waste time waiting for everything to be perfect. They start where they are with what they have, and they improve along the way. One of the biggest differences between successful people and those who struggle is their ability to make decisions quickly. Many people hesitate, overanalyze, and let fear hold them back. But the most successful individuals trust themselves to figure things out as they go. They take action first and adjust as needed. They know that momentum is built through movement, and that hesitation leads to stagnation. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles to success. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong decision. But the most successful people do not let fear control them. They feel the fear and take action anyway. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear, it's the willingness to move forward despite it. Every great achievement in history was accomplished by someone who was afraid, but chose to act anyway. One of the most important lessons about success is that you do not need to have all the answers before you start. Many people hold themselves back because they believe they need to be fully prepared before taking action. But the truth is, no one is ever fully prepared. The best way to learn is through experience. The most successful people take action first, gain experience, and learn along the way. They understand that failure is not something to be feared, it is a necessary part of growth. Success is a numbers game. The more action you take, the more opportunities you create. Many people fail because they take too little action. They try once, face a setback, and quit. But successful individuals understand that success is built through persistence. They keep going when others give up. They take massive action, knowing that the more they try, the greater their chances of success. Take sales, for example. If a salesperson makes one call a day, they might get 1 or 2 sales a month. But if they make 100 calls a day, they will inevitably close more deals. The same principle applies to any area of life. The more you put yourself out there, the more opportunities you create. The more you practice a skill, the better you become. The more risks you take, the more you learn. The key to success is massive, consistent action. Another powerful principle that successful people live by is the idea of failing fast. Instead of avoiding failure, they embrace it. They understand that the faster they fail, the faster they learn. They do not see failure as a setback. They see it as feedback. Every failure provides valuable lessons that bring them closer to success. They take action, analyze what went wrong, make adjustments, and try again. Successful people are also highly adaptable. They do not cling to strategies that are not working. They take action, assess the results, and pivot when necessary. They are not afraid to change their approach because they understand that flexibility is a key component of success. They do not see obstacles as roadblocks. They see them as opportunities to innovate and improve. Another major factor that separates successful individuals from those who struggle is their ability to maintain focus. Many people take scattered, unfocused action, jumping from one idea to the next without making real progress, but the most successful individuals focus on what matters most. They identify their top priorities and put their energy into the actions that will create the biggest impact. Successful people also understand the power of momentum. The hardest part of taking action is getting started. Once you take that first step, everything becomes easier. This is why successful individuals build routines and systems that keep them in motion. They eliminate distractions, remove obstacles, and set up their environment for success. They know that the more they take action, the easier it becomes to keep going. Another critical lesson is that taking action does not mean waiting for motivation. Many people believe they need to feel inspired before they can take action, but successful individuals understand that action comes first. Motivation follows. They do not rely on their emotions to determine whether or not they take action. They develop the discipline to take action regardless of how they feel. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the most experienced. They are simply the ones who take the most action. They move forward when others hesitate. They push through fear when others retreat. They keep going when others give up. This relentless action is what sets them apart. Another key to taking massive action is setting clear goals. Many people struggle with taking action because they lack direction. They do not know exactly what they want, so they drift aimlessly. But successful individuals are crystal clear about their goals. They define exactly what they want to achieve, create a plan, and take consistent action toward that goal every single day. Successful people also track their progress. They measure their results, analyze what is working, and make adjustments as needed. They do not just take action blindly, they take strategic action. They refine their approach, optimize their strategies, and continuously improve. Another powerful principle is the idea of doing more than expected. The most successful individuals go above and beyond. They do not settle for doing the bare minimum. They take extra steps, put in extra effort, and push themselves further than most people are willing to go. This is what separates the good from the great. At the core of success is the ability to take personal responsibility. Many people fail because they blame external factors for their lack of results. They make excuses, complain about their circumstances, and wait for things to change. But successful individuals take full ownership of their results. They do not blame others, they take responsibility for their actions and outcomes. Success is a direct result of the actions you take every single day. If you want to achieve more, you must do more. If you want better results, you must take better actions. If you want to change your life, you must change your behaviors. Success is not about luck, it is about consistently doing the right things over and over again until the results become inevitable. The most successful people in the world did not get there by accident. They got there because they took massive, relentless action. They did not wait for permission. They did not wait for the perfect time. They did not let fear stop them. They made a decision, committed to taking action, and kept moving forward no matter what. If you want success, the formula is simple. Take action. Take action when you feel like it. Take action when you don't. Take action when you're motivated. Take action when you're scared. Take action when you're tired. Take action when it's hard. Take action when it's uncertain. Take action every single day, and success will follow.